There I was, heart pounding like a war drum, staring down this woman in her gleaming Lexus RX, flapping a penalty slip as if she ruled the entire damn universe. The moment Victoria Blackwell hit me with a $200 ticket for leaving my pickup at my own lakeside retreat was the exact instant she unknowingly armed me with the weapon to dismantle her whole tyrannical Lakeview Association regime. And oh, the irony hit hard because that very barrier she slammed shut across my path was blocking the one and only span linking her fancy enclave to the outside world. The bridge my heartbroken grandfather had crafted from scratch back in '43, sweat and calluses pouring into every beam. His stories of wartime scarcity making each nail a testament to resilience. Improper parking on communal grounds, she snapped, jabbing her finger at my truck sitting peacefully on the soil that's been in my family for decades. But what Victoria failed to grasp, in her cloud of entitlement, was that I held the deed to that critical crossing over Maple Brook, the lifeline every resident in her upscale Willow Grove subdivision depended on to reach their $500,000 mansions. If you're tangled up with some overbearing association boss right now, drop a comment on where you're tuning in from, cause the storm that's about to unfold will eclipse any payback daydreams you've ever had. And as I stood there, the autumn wind carrying hints of pine and decay, I felt the weight of generations pressing on me, urging me not to let this slide. Let me rewind just a bit to set the scene. I'm Ethan Harper, 34, a bridge specialist in civil engineering. Ironic as hell given how this all plays out. 2 years back my grandpa slipped away, bequeathing me his vintage '40s getaway on Cedar Lake. Not some rundown shack, but a slice of heaven on 3 acres of untouched shore, reachable solely via that narrow arch over the creek. I jet around the globe for sustainable infrastructure gigs, so visits were rare, but that spot, it pulsed with memories. Grandpa schooling me on casting lines from the pier, decoding every wildlife whisper in the wind, sharing tales by firelight of hammering that bridge together amid wartime shortages, his voice cracking with pride over outsmarting material shortages with scavenged lumber. The landscape had morphed wildly in recent years, serene woods giving way to polished developments, one being that uniform cluster of homes in Willow Grove, pleasant on the surface, but a far cry from the untamed haven Grandpa cherished. Enter Victoria Blackwell, mid-50s, fresh from urban chaos. Anointed herself the queen of decorum after muscling into the Lakeview Association presidency by vowing to boost resale prices and enforce rigid codes, which translated to nitpicking lawn heights and guest durations with stopwatch precision. Her campaign slick with promises of exclusivity that masked her deeper need for control. She cruised in a pristine silver Mercedes, nails always immaculate, toting a designer binder like she was sealing corporate empires rather than badgering folks over fence shades. Her disdain for my quaint relic of a cabin seeped through in sidelong glances and muttered snides, the elitism subtle yet stinging. So when I returned from a half-year stint in Sweden, picture my shock at the shiny new barricade sealing off the route to my arch. Not a flimsy thing, but fortified with steel and concrete, echoing ominously through the foliage. The installation crew's remnants, discarded tools and fresh dirt piles, adding to the insult. Victoria stood sentinel, binder clutched, her costly scent clashing with the earthy breeze, shoving me a formal decree asserting the pathway was now association turf per a fresh land survey. Their docs proclaimed upkeep duties granted them control, the fine notice a masterpiece of bureaucracy. $200 base plus $50 daily for my abandoned vehicle, stacking up quick. You get it, Shirley. She cooed with saccharine venom. We can't allow rogue cars marring our shared spaces. It's all for equity. You know, her eyes gleaming with the thrill of authority. I traced the cold edges of those fresh posts, the creek's murmur below stirring echoes of childhood skips and Grandpa's lessons. It all felt like a twisted dream. This link I'd traversed endlessly as a boy now contested. Newer folks bought into Victoria's strict vibe, but veterans of the area, those who recalled the pre-suburb days, offered quiet nods. Rachel Kim, a former educator living nearest the span, passed me a scribbled hint as I retreated. Dig into public archives, smells off, her eyes, darting nervously as if fearing reprisal. Driving off, tires grinding the dirt, my mind raced ahead, plotting, see, Victoria had blundered big, pegging me as another compliant drone who'd fold and pay, clueless that she'd tangled with a pro who designs crossings for survival and grasps the paperwork labyrinth of ownership. Deep down, the injustice burned. This wasn't mere hassle. It was an assault on legacy, on the blood and toil Grandpa invested. And I felt that quiet rage simmering, the kind that fuels calculated moves, not outbursts. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the water, I vowed silently to turn her aggression into her undoing. Victoria didn't drag her feet in ramping up the pressure. A formal stop order from her slick attorney landed in my mail within days. Legalese thick as fog meant to cow me, alleging my crossings risked local kids, absurd since no youngsters dwelled nearby, demanding I cough up the inflated $450 or brace for suits over vandalism and hazards. She buzzed around the village cafe, seeding tales of my unruliness and veiled dangers. None factual, but gossip spreads like wildfire in tight-knit spots, her words twisting like vines to choke out truth. I could have exploded, marched to her immaculate yard, and unleashed hell. But no, engineers thrive on facts, so I dove in. The record's hall reeked of aged tomes and polish, lights humming like swarms overhead as I sifted through brittle pages for hours, fingerprints smudging the yellowed edges. And what surfaced was gold. Grandpa's 43 title didn't stop at the retreat and plot. It encompassed the full arch, detailed to the wood grain and footing depths, including sketches of the original blueprints that showed his innovative reinforcements. The association's map conveniently skipped this gem, yet the fine print held an access allowance for fair passage, capped precisely at a dozen vehicles daily, 12, with Willow Grove's 47 dwellings averaging double cars each. Crunch the numbers. Here's a tip. Passage terms stick to origin docs. Judges honor the founder's words. Always scrutinize clauses. They're deliberate. And in that musty room, surrounded by stacks of forgotten histories, the realization hit like a thunderclap. Grasping, I commanded entry to half the hood. A grin crept in despite the fury, but Victoria pressed on, mounting a watcher aimed at my span for safety, logging my every move like a dossier, rallying signatures to force compliance. Most caved to dodge her persistence. Her teen kid at one drive I rolled so epic I feared whiplash. Yet whispers grew, the petition papers fluttering in the breeze as doors slammed in hurried agreement. Rachel murmured at the mail stop, creak masking our chat. That Victoria probed my wallet depth for a brawl. Then Alex Turner, a war vet lakeside, confided she'd badgered him over his flag scale, sharing faded photos of his service to underscore the pettiness. Olivia Grant, town paper scribe, shared Victoria's bid to axe her job for a rights piece. The Pattersons, seniors, lamented yanked feeders drawing pests. It dawned. This transcended my path, a web of intimidation weaving months. I'd joined the victim list, each story layering the injustice like sediment in the creek bed. Victoria had warped our haven into her fiefdom, ruling via dread. I'd faced egos on sites before, but she'd erred picking a patient battler with know-how. From my porch, loons wailing over waves, I saw the stakes swell. Letting her roll me meant endless targets. Someone had to resist, and fate picked the bridge guy, the moonlit water reflecting my resolve like a mirror to the past. Her warfare turned fiscal, lodging a county gripe on my arch's instability, pushing a $3,200 probe, whipping board votes for safety levies, hinting my global gigs were shady, Denmark wind farms morphing to spy thriller in her mind, but challenging a span pro on spans? Like dueling a chef in their kitchen, I devoted a weekend to full audit, boots thudding on planks, creosote scent evoking boyhood aids to Grandpa, tools clinking as I measured strains under simulated loads. Findings shown. Over-engineered for eternity, 20-ton rated, truck-ready, noted her deck's glaring flaws from afar. Tip. Heavy-duty arches handle home flow. Seek expert second eyes on mandates. Her panic showed, petitioning counsel to doom the span as peril, touting full backing. But SIGs faked or misled for grills. The hearing room tense with her scripted pleas echoing off wood panels. That flopped. Her no-contact bid tossed for zero proof. Judge smirking her exit. Meanwhile, I quizzed petition signers. None grasped the ploy. Ours a single consent zone, so I taped her counsel's slip. They banked on my rights ignorance. Bad wager, my tabby shadow judged souls, hissing at her ride's pass. Even Pets sensed rot, his fur bristling as if detecting the moral decay. The hood stirred. Rachel outed as ex-legal aid, volunteering digs. Alex drew from military builds. Olivia grilled association cash. Our huddles at Rachel's table fueled by potent brew, steam rising like our building indignation. Olivia flagged public ledgers, showing double spends. Then Rachel's nuke. Overspent reserves, $40,000 on rocks and bushes. Invoices padded with phantom labor costs. Puzzle clicked. Cash strapped, eyeing my span for fees. Not standards but desperation. Pine wafting as we poured docs. Satisfaction bloomed like solved equations. Victoria brewed her doom, her sabotage next. Ornaments blocking my way. Slabs masked as decor but truck stoppers. Saws grinding dawn. Dust storming. Neighbors peeking from curtains in bewildered silence. That crossed lines. I sought urgent court halt with true title and map. Judge irked, slicing her mid-rant, mandating clearance in a day, slapping $2,500 contempt. Outside I schooled onlookers, blocking access landlocks, illegal nationwide. Courts guard entry fierce, log all, the crowd murmuring approval as sunlight glinted off the creek. Her revenge juvenile, fake tips on my retreat's woes, gripes on my rare visits, shunning pushes, even license probe claiming instability, board dismissed. But tides shifted. Alex formed Span-Guard Alliance. Fed up souls. Rachel unearthed Victoria's past plagues and prior hoods, suits and misery. Old clippings yellowed but damning. Olivia tallied mismatches. Odd payouts, ghost fees, no upgrades, my insurer noted. Span lost tanks values. No access kills coverage for emergencies, shared with Alliance. Bulbs lit. Victoria risked all, not just me. Sensing shift, she summoned crisis session on the Ethan issue. Slideshow cringy. Floating $5,000 buyout for $200,000 asset. Bold. Attendees shifting uncomfortably in folding chairs. Tensions boiled. Mystery flyers branding me foe. Truck notes. Rachel's hose slashed. Cafe hushes on entry. Peace fractured by one ego. But I held steady with truth. She'd self-sabotage. Question was collateral. Creek's flow evening mused timelessness over tyrants. Its steady rhythm a reminder of enduring patience. Rachel rang dawn-thrilled. Charter bomb unearthed. Pre-association rights untouched. Formed post-grandpa's pass. Can't backdate. Her base crumbled. Plus reserves bled $23,000 to Blackwell advisors. Her shell. Olivia confirmed via opens. No work. Pure siphon. The printouts crisp under lamplight revealing forged signatures. Hands shook scanning. Not Java. Bridge spat masked theft diversion. Outsider perfect patsy. Power flipped. She was crook exposed. 3 nukes. Ownership. Harassment proof. Embezzled docs. Tip. Wild escalations hide sins. Bullies deflect. The revelation fueling a fire that had smoldered too long. Her counsel bailed ethicals. Board distanced. Hubby queried windfalls. Whispers flipped, recalls of shady bids and Solo cash handling. I could have sued Solo for payout, but stakes communal, shield from thief. Creek's patient erode inspired. Facts over force. She'd learn cost of fake rule. Our plans solidifying like the bridge's foundations. Our crew morphed serious. Rachel's became HQ. Brew and resolve thick. Rachel legal. Alex rallied. Olivia prepped expose. Pro bono counsel guided. AG fraud file. Audit push. Harass damages. Boot her. My span report pro level. Peer verified. Tip. Boards owed duty. Theft felony. Demand books. Documents stacking like battle plans. Tech vital. But heart's key. I door-knocked facts sand slams. Rage at ripoff swelled. 31 of 47 allied. Not mere names but standards. Alex's spouse cookie-fueled arch club. Shadow purred progress. Rachel's files FBI-worthy. Cross-references meticulous as a spider's web. Victoria spied via PI. Rumor-mongered conspiracy. Clashed meetings. I countered refs from pros. Global vouches. Trap elegant. Public forum force lies. Fraud pros alerted. Papers rustled planning. Roles set. Backups. Media locked. Spans cables tactile reminded engineering ethos. Build lasting. Solve real. Strengthen bonds. the tactile strength a metaphor for our growing unity. Leaves crunching finals, transcended rights, anti-bully stand, community shield, loons echoed fight worth, patience truth unstoppable, she'd crash hard, her peak frenzy, midnight crowbar on span, cams caught scrapes in pants, minimal harm but intent damning, shared board, two quit, footage grainy but irrefutable under night vision, smear wave, fake reviews, instability posts, backfired, tip, traceable, defame prosecutable, screen all, disgust mounted, reports on her nights, support fled, bank ties showed forged loan bids, federal turf, sensed doom, bribed $15,000 hush, taped admit mix-ups, gold, more slips, her voice trembling over the line like cracking ice. She unraveled live, hood on edge, values fears versus theft fury, silence is heavy, sides and stores, friendships cracked, her divide deep, more tales surfaced, harass, cash quirks, power abuse pattern, her threat call wild, ruined vows, fab safety lies, detached, hubby fled with kids, boxes piled in driveway under cover of night. I timelined her spiral versus my calm, irony, greed self-jailed, best vengeance rope gift, her last, false dawn collapse alert, sirens blared, crews tied, chief called, I arrived to her rogue drama. Cracks claimed, my check quick, solid verdict public, chief scolded waste, crime noted, emergency lights casting eerie glows on gathered neighbors. Audit dropped $31,000 ghost, accountant trails, tip, digital permanent, small thefts balloon unchecked, her break, paranoia notes, accusations, support gone, but beauty bloomed, span day picnics, chalk kids, unity symbol, families laughing where tension once reigned. Media frenzy hit, Olivia's piece viral hashtag archjustice, reform sites, Victoria tyrant poster, charges piled. Theft, fraud, license probe, IRS digs, from bridge sunset I pondered, symbol of stand, birds and stars blessed post-strife. She'd awaken hood from fear, the fading light painting the water in hues of redemption. Her flight try with $8,000 halted, perp walk filmed, cracked facade, small crook exposed, self-ruined, as cruiser faded, grandpa's arch endured, connecting, serving beyond her fade, structures last, empires crumble, its silhouette against the dusk a beacon of quiet triumph. The civic center overflowed, 200 squeezed in for half, cams rolling. Mayor summoned post-arrest buzz, I podiumed calm with visuals. Harassment chronicle, title copies, cash trails. Months back, thought overreach, uncovered theft, bully, dictatorship warp, silence as evidence unspooled, timestamps, banks, indisputable, the projector humming softly amid held breaths. Victoria front with lawyer, deputy, bail fragile, my bribe tape played. Her admit echoing, she erupted accusations. Conspiracy, Ethan framed, lawyer tugged feudal, breakdown broadcast, out of order. Mayor cut, her scream peak, echoes bouncing off walls like her crumbling empire. My zinger, you built crime on neighbor dues, I just ended your theft run. Applause thundered, flashes lit, Rachel legal expose, Alex vet harass, others tales, pattern clear, abuse systemic, testimonies raw with emotion, tears and nods rippling through the crowd. Sheriff listed embezzle, fraud, forgery, falsies, state ongoing, FBI mail probe. Judge restrained her from association, surrender all, media grilled rights, reforms called, viral comments shared horrors, online forums buzzing with solidarity stories. Her cuff lead filmed, waves from once scared kids, catharsis hugged divides, apologies flowed, recovery planned amid brew and energy, flashes captured heel, as crowd dispersed chill air, closure washed, grandpa's arch unity emblem, justice served, hood learned resistance, bonds forged stronger in the aftermath. Change swept. New board, Rachel head unanimous, I bowed out politics weary, Victoria guilty plea, 2 years inside, 5 probation, $47,000 repay, license gone, divorce swift, I launched annual Arch Fest year post block, picnics, games, $8,000 vets, her daughter apologized handwritten, first my scholarship win, the letters ink smudged with youthful sincerity. I stayed local, Firm aiding infra, found purpose service, right site aided dozens, testified reforms, case textbook, eco-partnership protected area, values rose post-scandal. Buyers sought proven integrity. Olivia awarded, Rachel taught, Alex consulted, alliance permanent, meets Rachel's shadow mascot. His presence a furry reminder of simpler judgments. Her home foreclosed to garden, veggies over venom, kids frolic, months on, family relocated for our stand, anti-bully haven, wins tallied, finances fixed, zero gripes, 12 hoods aided, arch historic, beyond access or dues, ordinary fight permission, one spark frees all, the transformation a living tribute to Grandpa's enduring vision. From festival laughs, barbecue mingling autumn, flag proud, arch solid justice symbol, Grandpa's legacy endures, the sounds of joy echoing across the water like a final, harmonious resolution. Now, was this payback justified, or does mercy trump exposure when corruption hides in plain sight? What lines divide justice from vengeance in community battles? Share your thoughts below on right, wrong, ethics here.